Hello everyone, this is a very tired editing Ovs here with your clown horn warning. If you hear a clown horn, clowning is coming. If you hear a transition, we're going to try our best to sound normal, but we're probably going to fail miserably. This is probably our most chaotic episode we've ever done, but we have some fully fleshed out thoughts here and there. And at the end, which was recorded a little bit later when we'd calmed down a little bit. Apologies to all, and thank you to the Bridgerton gods for showing us mercy. We are ever grateful, and we will humble ourselves before you, clowning forevermore. Enjoy. Hello, Beans.
Hello.
Oh, babe, you sound so tired. Hello everyone and welcome back to What a Barb, an emergency podcast. I'm joined currently by Veg and Beans. Would you describe yourself as human at this time of morning?
No.
Are you good?
I'm fucking tired.
Just to clarify, it is 6:17 in your time zone, isn't it? We're just awaiting Aleki, who, God help us, it's 5:17 in the morning.
Oh my god.
We saw Miss Biscuit though, she's very cute.
Yeah, she's chewing the computer right now. Please stop.
Oh, bless her soul. So to contextualise what has happened today, as you all know, yesterday on Wednesday, there was an announcement that we were going to get to be honest, yesterday was very confusing because first came an announcement that Netflix were doing their first look of series and films today. And included in that lineup was Bridgerton. So we were like, oh my God, we're going to get something today on Thursday. But then just after, Bridgerton social media revealed that the live stream is going to be happening on the 14th of February. So like a full panel event. We think it's going to be very similar to what happened with Queen Charlotte last year, even down to the day. So we can expect panels, Q&As, maybe a little bit of character questions, and then some clips and maybe even a trailer. So because of that, we don't really know what we're going to get today. And just joining us now is Lecky from LA, 5:19 in the morning. Oh God, Veg, don't you feel bad now that we've got them out of bed?
I'm still in bed.
Christ,
I'm not left.
Good morning. Us Brits, it's like 1:20 in the afternoon. We're having a great time. We're alive and awake.
Well, first of all, we should say, Lucky, how are you doing spiritually? Emotionally.
how am I doing spiritually? My ankle is killing me. I had to hobble around my house because I twisted my ankle.
You hurt yourself, haven't you?
Yeah, so that was wonderful. Oh, and then I was brushing my teeth while singing the Beach Boys song, Wouldn't It Be Nice? Thinking about how much I really wanted to see the 0.2 seconds of the pollen clip that my friends won't let me watch.
Okay, so contextually, what's happened today is we've all been waiting for the live stream that's going to kick off in about half an hour or so. So the trailer or the compilation of upcoming releases. And then lo and behold, it was actually one of our listeners, thank you very much, sent us the Awake Brits, stills from a clip. And so we tracked them down. We've been looking, we've been freaking out over it. It seems, as everything, it has been leaked. Why is it always a leak? This is the question. So we don't know if this is everything that's going to come up soon. Lecky, you're getting really mad at me because I said, Beans, Lecky, you're not allowed to look until we're on a call together.
Let's put them out of their misery.
It's very short and I feel very like we've hyped it up a little bit.
My eyes are closed. Just let me know when it pops up.
Okay,
right.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead. Oh, wait, replay it. I'm so happy they're standing close to each other.
They're actually moving,
Yeah. He still has a little bit of the pirate Colin wave, so I think this is probably early on still.
There's a doily around her neck.
No, that's a piece of mesh.
No, she's got a lilac taffeta ribbon around her neck.
Yeah.
So is she starting to fall in love with him again? Or
First love.
Interesting. You know what I like about this? It does look kind of like rom-com awkwardness. Obviously he was staring at her and she's
It is a funny little moment that she has there.
You know how in TV shows there's a moment before they kiss or whatever and something happens to interrupt it? Mm-hmm. And I feel like they probably weren't gonna kiss, but there's definitely a moment with feelings that was then broken by her looking down.
Mm-hmm. Or he was staring.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Well, this is the thing. His expression is incredible.
Yeah.
I think he's absolutely fucking done for.
He had the exact same expression at the end of episode 8, season 1.
Yes, at the ball.
Yeah.
When she surprises him.
Yeah.
We think it's early episodes, right? Yeah. Very early episodes.
Mm-hmm. Oh my God, you guys. The picture of Edmund and Violet right behind them.
Look how beautifully framed this is in the back.
I know.
Just behind her.
Yeah.
And she's wearing the
Love
same
it.
colour as Violet again.
Can I switch the topic about her little mesh choker necklace? What do you call that?
Well, Just before we do, Veg, I believe you're on the ground, live reporting from the scene.
Yes, hello.
How are they both looking?
Oh, they're both looking nice. So let's start with Colin for once. His luscious locks, they're not as curly as Pirate Colin. Maybe he's had a little haircut since, but they're soft and swoopy, so nice there.
Very romantic.
Something that stuck out to me and obvious is that he hasn't got like a proper jacket on, we don't think. It looks like this might be sort of like a high up waistcoat that he's wearing without a jacket, so that's pretty informal and very exciting.
Pretty more intimate.
The waistcoat is dark grey, blue kind of thing, and it looks like a floral design. And I've got some bad news for the Free the Neck campaigners. It's not your day.
But he looks so good.
He does. He looks good.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll all get like swayed and become Cover the Neck campaigners.
Maybe we convert. Well, it looks like Miss Penn's being converted because Veg, how's Penn looking?
Pen is looking lovely. So her dress has a similar kind of pattern to his actually, which is very exciting. It's got like a floral, like planty design on it with vine leaves. Also, it's a similar colour to some of the other dresses we've seen her in, like a kind of mint green. That suggests it might be sort of once she's started changing her style up a bit, because it seems more on that side of things. Her hair as well is similar to what we've seen for the sort of later in the season looks. Can you stop banging around for a second while I describe Pen's outfit? Just 1 minute. Thanks so much.
How dare he?
Okay, sorry. So her hair as well is quite like what we've seen with some of the later in the season looks as well.
Little baby curls.
Slightly tighter maybe, some of the curls, and she's got the sort of wispy head curls as well. Her makeup is nice, peachy. She's got like peachy cheeks. She's got a nice little kind of V-shaped, wishbone-shaped, flowery looking hairpiece, which is very nice.
Yeah.
And something very exciting and very different is like a lilac, and need I remind you what lilac represents in the world of Bridgerton? Little kind of tulle necktie. Could she have been inspired by Pirate Colin? Is she trying to be a pirate with this necktie? It's very interesting.
She's like, I'll wear the cravats in this relationship from now on.
Okay, you can make lunch now.
Lucky, what are you thinking about?
Oh, okay. Yes, sorry. I was processing this while she was speaking, and I think it's actually pre-Austerley, post the market scene, because he still has, like, his hair looks just like it does in that Lord and Lady Whistledown market clip. It still has the waves, and it's not been smoothed over like it has at Austerley, whereas, like, her hair is, like, curled similarly like it is at the Austerley ball. So I think it takes place, like, between the market scene and the Austerley ball is what I was thinking, judging by their hair. He looks like he's still somewhat pirate, so it looks like after the market, before Austerley to me.
Which would make sense if
they're still on friendly terms.
I still think it's in episode 1.
I don't think they've made up by episode 1.
No, because in episode 2 is when we had that still of her at the market, and she's wearing the dress that's not nearly as flattering as this one.
It's still got like the embellishments.
But I feel like it's just the colour of, like, you know, this is the colour they decided is the new pen.
Well, it's just because all of the clips they've released have been from episode 1, including Queen Charlotte.
Yeah.
I see what you mean, as in like
Yeah.
they're releasing it from the first one.
Yeah.
I'm just following your to-doom theory about how her dresses kind of changed from having those kind of like awkward flower embellishments to being like really pretty.
That's true.
I feel like this is after the market scene, because she had that kind of like
No, you're right.
flowery embellishments on that one, and this one looks like her like an Australian style dress. So I feel like Jen has like delivered the new dresses at this point.
You're right.
But it perfectly matches Violet in the background. If you look, it's literally the same colour.
I was thinking maybe Jen is playing matchmaker. She's like, I'm going to put Pen in blue all the time, and Colin is just going to like lose his mind.
Talking of Colin losing his mind, his expression is fascinating, because I think it's definitely early episodes, because he's like so fucked, but he's like still trying to comprehend it. And if it is like Veg, what you said, where he was like lost in a gaze at her, the moment that kind of breaks in is really like, oh, fluttery and awkward and stuff, then if he's like just staring at her that intently so early on.
I am on board, because that would be so cute. So maybe it is episode 2.
He's like in a moment, he's looking at her.
He's losing his mind. I love it.
And then he's like, he has like a flicker, and then he looks down.
Look at his gas. He looks like such a lady man.
Yeah, and because you can see his face be like, oh, and then Pen's there. And she's almost like,
I think this is the scene where they might agree to their, like, tutoring thing. Hot take.
Oh, maybe.
You don't think they would have done that in the first episode? Because like at the market, they look like they're already like friends again.
As a structure, how about episode 1, there's tension. And then at the end of the episode, they come to like, because that's the structure of the show, that it happened with both seasons, that they come to some sort of like agreement, slightly begrudgingly, but an agreement.
Yes. And this is them trying out the plan.
Oh, maybe.
And so episode 2, we have the market scene where maybe they bump into each other. Maybe this is
like enacting the plan.
That this is maybe the first lesson. And so she's come over to his house, which is interesting that she's come over to his because...
Eloise.
Oh, you think they're going to meet for the...
Okay, that's what I'm thinking.
Oh my goodness.
We wondered, didn't we? This has been speculated where they would meet. And why else would she go over?
Yeah.
Because Eloise is there.
Yeah.
So it's interesting that she's in his house at that point. And also, who's letting them be there?
Yeah.
Why does it always bloody leak?
I don't know.
So on Reddit, someone said, our first confirmed Polin dialogue of season 3, a cough.
Do you think we're getting anything else? Probably not, right?
No.
I'm going to grab a snack.
Well, are you meowing to Biscuit?
Yeah. Sorry.
The Netflix thing's like, where is everyone watching from? And I can just see Beans in bed with Biscuit.
Well, now she's by the door because she wants out. Biscuit, come here. It might be because it's the morning and I'm tired, but I did feel like crying.
Oh.
Just in general?
No, just seeing that clip because it's like, damn, we made it.
We've made it.
Okay, 60 seconds.
Oh, I have to open my eyes.
Open your little eyes, my darling Beans. Join the world of the living again. The commitment to the cause.
Yeah, my hard work's finally paying off.
Where the hell is Veg? Oh, we've got a 2-minute countdown. For fuck's sake.
Veg, girl, get over here.
It's 25 seconds now.
Oh my god.
3, 2, 1. Starting.
Keira Knightley.
Did you see? We're on a different time delay. This is so stressful.
Saw Colin approaching Pen during the Moonlight Polin still. Oh my god, and she's like so nervous. She's like breathing heavily.
Stop. Hang on.
Oh my god.
I'm not
I
there
didn't
yet.
see.
No. I'm not there. For fuck's sake. Oh my god. She looks so upset. Oh my god. Come on, keep
That
going,
might
keep
have been the
going,
only thing, but we'll
I'm
see.
gonna puke.
We'll take it.
But oh my god, we saw a Moonlight Polin movie,
Yeah.
and Colin is like approaching her, and like, oh my god, I'm dying. I have to watch that again as soon as possible.
I literally feel like throwing up.
Please don't throw up on the call.
Excuse me? What happened? I missed something.
Oh, we got the
Eunice?
clip. We got the clip. She was practicing her flirting on him.
Whoa.
She was practicing flirting with him.
Wait, I didn't watch this.
Why are we so far behind you, for fuck's sake?
Where is it? I was practicing flirting with him. She said, "Your eyes are the most remarkable shade
I
of
just
blue."
got there.
Oh
It
my
was
god.
a lesson. That is so exciting.
Oh my god, my cat's going ape shit.
So we got the context. That's so exciting. We were super wrong, but oh my god, it's like way better than I could have imagined.
I will say I was semi-right. I didn't think it was the journal scene. Ow, bitch, don't bite me. Oh my god, I can't believe it. Ooh, Squid Game.
That was it. I think that's it.
What have they just shared? Hang on a second. They
What?
just shared something to their Instagram.
Oh shit, mother. Oh,
Motherfucker, I'll say it for
fuck,
you.
I'm just typing in. Oh god, I don't know what I'm typing.
You okay?
I was typing Instagram into the Instagram search instead of Bridgerton. Okay, here.
Oh my god.
I just watched it.
There's more, girl, there's more.
Forget everything we said earlier, right? So, okay, two clips, right, we need to talk about. The first is...
Oh my god, the way he approaches her, it looks like an almost kiss moment. Do you know what I mean? Like he looks like intent.
He's so big on my screen.
So, first clip that we've seen in the actual video is none other than moving Moonlight Polin, which we've been so excited about. So this is the still from Jadum.
Yeah.
So there's no dialogue.
Look at his expression. Look at him.
And it's just 2 frames of Colin approaching her and her reaction to it. But let's look at Colin first.
Yeah.
So he's wearing the costume that obviously we saw in the Jadum still, but the expression...
This is Chaos Colin. I am going to almost kiss her, like Colin. Do you know what I mean? Look how determined he is to like speak with her.
His hair is like super undone as well. Like he is a man undone.
And the way she reacts when like he's like stalking towards her. Look at this. Like watch.
Yeah.
I'm dying. I'm just dying.
She looks so upset. We thought that the Moonlight still was like an intense moment, right? But this is like she's actually upset in this moment.
He's gonna kiss her.
I think he's confronting her. I think that she's been with Debling and he's really pissed off and he's like getting at her about it.
I don't know.
Do you think this is her telling him what's happened? what he did.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe this is where she admits, I don't know, she looks so upset and he looks so intent. I don't know how else to describe it. And just the way he like slowly steps toward her.
Oh my god, she looks gorgeous.
Yeah, it's beautiful, isn't it? Lecky, I think we can see the necklace a little bit clearer. So when we get a clearer still, we're going to have to be pulling out the magnifying glass.
Yeah, I'm going to have to do a close-up of the necklace. Well, we got the heavy breathing that Beans likes so much. So that's exciting.
The Regency breathing.
Yeah.
Wow, it's so intense. He's like unhinged in that moment. Also, we've got a bit more context. So they're definitely outside.
Yes.
We can see the shot a bit more,
Yeah,
so we're going to have to do a bit of location breakdown.
You can see the pillar here.
I said it was us.
You know what? I have a feeling about... No, it can't be Danbury, right?
This is episode 2. This is definitely episode 2.
Okay.
I will say, I feel so vindicated. I said it was outside, and I feel vindicated.
You did. It isn't the green room, which makes sense now because that is a bedroom for something else. But they're outside.
We almost got into a full-on fight because of this.
I don't think we've ever fought.
No, we did. No, Ovs got upset
Oh, the green room?
because I didn't agree. And so I decided to back off a little bit and just be like, yeah, it's in the green room. Yeah, this is Def outside.
I'm dying. Look at his expression. Is that a post-sibling expression? I'm not sure. I feel like this is like he can't take it anymore. And look like how he's just breaking every rule of propriety in the world to like come closer to her.
Yeah, maybe this is the confrontation then where he's like, what is going on? And then she finally breaks.
And we know from the Moonlight still that he gets even closer than that. So that's exciting.
Oh my god, yeah. How do they get closer and closer?
He's like undone by it. Yes, the Moonlight is like just after this moment when he's super in her face. Can you just rewind? Because like he's on her level almost in that Moonlight still. So like what's he leaning on?
So I wonder if she's standing, I think that either she's on an apple box or she's standing on something that is, like a step up.
Maybe she's like on the porch.
Yeah.
A structure in the garden.
You know what I bet it is too? He gets closer to her to be like, Pen, I would never say those things about you or whatever. Like, I never meant it to be like that. And then he gets like really close and then he realizes what happens.
Sorry, we also should figure out where this is behind him. This looks like a hedge, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
You know what? It looks like Chiswick.
And then the little yellow flowers next to them. Are they yellow and blue flowers?
Chiswick had hedges, I believe. I think it's Chiswick. Can we watch the second clip now? Because I would like to go to bed.
So this is the context of the scene that we were breaking down earlier that we got completely wrong.
Okay, ready?
So back in the Bridgerton drawing room, and this is everything.
I know.
That is the best thing I've ever seen in my life. This is Fever Dream.
I have tears in my eyes.
This is like AO3 like bled into like like she's practicing flirting on him.
She looks gorgeous. Can we talk about she looks beautiful.
The necktie is like just necktying,
Oh, you know what? I had another comment earlier about that. I was going to say, remember her in the poster, she has those mesh gloves and an enchanted pen. I wonder if it's kind of like carrying that element forward through her wardrobe. Oh, and it is kind of like romantic, as Veg said.
You're like a recurring motif.
She looks gorgeous. She looks, I can't get over how pretty she looks.
What I love in this moment is, just play it again, like. I just can't even speak.
Let's look at his vest.
Her cloak.
Is that her coat in the background? Her whistle down coat?
Do you think she has a shawl and Violet had a shawl there?
Just like Violet has a shawl. Oh my god, rewind it back.
Oh,
That's the first line.
bless Colin.
So the first line that we have is, your eyes are the most remarkable shade of blue.
I might say something like that if you were a suitor. You know what is actually great about this too is that she got caught in the end there too, because she clears her throat to get out of it just like he does to break that moment. She got into it at the end there too. So that's amazing.
So the full shot of this is like perfectly framed then with the Violet and Edmund back, even the way they're standing, like they're standing in like the same order. And even, like you says, has the shawl or the cloak or whatever she has in the background.
I'm so excited. Sorry.
Oh, my word. It's just so perfect. She's sucked into that moment too.
Yeah, at first we thought that she was like way more collected, but apparently she kind of gets into it almost as much as he does.
His eyes genuinely are such, I don't know, something about his eyes in this scene as well.
Bridgerton on Twitter just posted something. Could you check and make sure it's...
Yeah.
Oh, Lordy.
I feel like I'm getting acid reflux. I'm so excited.
Now that is a ring endorsement if there ever was one. Right, okay, let me have a look. They've posted the clip.
What?
It's the whole scene.
What?
The whole thing.
37 seconds. We're getting 37 seconds.
Holy shit. Oh my
Okay,
god.
hold on.
Put it on the screen. Put it on the screen.
Oh my god.
Can you see this?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm ready.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Are you ready? Ready?
The music.
Am I crying at that line? He speaks.
And that's Eloise coming in at the end there. Did you hear that?
Oh my god. Play again. This line about him being kind kills me.
That's Eloise for sure.
What's she saying?
Something about service?
I wonder if that's Francesca, the other voice.
The music.
The music's gorgeous. It says, your eyes are the most remarkable shade of blue. And this line kills me. And yet somehow they shine even brighter when you're kind.
How dare he? Rather direct.
Oh God, that's such a Polin. she's embarrassed. Amazing.
What I love about that is how his voice breaks. That is so well done.
This scene alone could give me an orgasm.
Okay, so their reactions. The first thing is the line about him being kind really ties back to the reason that she fell in love with him in the books. And that's always been the Polin basis, his kindness, which is obviously why it was such a shock to her in the show when he did something that was unkind in 208.
You can also imagine that old Penelope has looked into his eyes and thought that line while looking into his eyes and about how they shine brighter when he's kind. Do you know what I mean? Like old Penelope has definitely thought that.
She's just revealing everything about why she's always loved him.
But this expression, this is her worried that Eloise is going to catch her here, isn't it? Do you think?
Yeah. Okay, ladies. I'm going to depart.
Are you going to tap out, Beans?
Yeah, this has been lovely.
Thank you, we love you. Let's just pull back a little second. So they have the moment. So he's clearly been like, give us a line. She's giving the line that is based completely in truth.
Yeah.
So she's like an observation that then reveals
everything.
The depth of her love and like the basis of her love, the kindness.
She's finally able to get away with saying what she's wanted to say for years.
And like she's so truthful in that moment.
Outfit note, we can now see more of Pen's hair.
Oh, there's butterfly clips.
She's got a few. She's got one the other side as well that we couldn't see.
Yes.
Them both awkwardly trying to break the moment.
But then the little like the panic, like she looks to the side really panicked and she's like, shit, what the fuck did I just say?
Well, I also like that his challenge is probably, okay, practice flirting. And her mind jumps to like, these are the most romantic thoughts I've ever had. And they're about Colin and about gazing into his eyes and about how kind they look when they look at her. That's amazing.
I can't believe they're actually literally having a lesson and he's giving her feedback. Oh,
definitely Eloise at the end.
I can't believe they're moving. God, the framing is just so perfect. Just to finish off the end of that scene then, so they break the moment, it's like awkward. He's like very flustered, very taken aback. But then, obviously Eloise, and I think it might be Francesca, the other voice, is walking in.
I feel like she's more worried than he is. He does think, if you see his eyes like kind of flicker, like maybe they don't want to be caught alone either. So he might be worried about that.
Yeah, being caught alone would be disastrous. But I think for Pen, it's
worried about Eloise, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
So do we think that the basis of the lessons are come round to mine when no one else is in?
Yes. But they have lemonade, so somebody brought them lemonade. The staff knows that they're there.
Someone's getting paid off there. But the lesson's going to take place in the drawing room. Which makes sense, but it puts aside any sort of Bloomsbury, which I think we'd given up on a long time ago. It's really sweet. It's beautiful. You can still see her like wavering a little bit.
She's like, oh, fuck.
I love that expression. She's like years and years of carefully concealing that. And she oh, God, love them.
I think we may see Moonlight Polin at the Valentine's Day.
Yes, that would be amazing.
I'm so excited.
The caption with Bridgerton is, it would seem Miss Featherington has spent plenty of time studying the eyes of Mr. Bridgerton. One can only question what will ever come of it. Find out more at the Ton's most anticipated fan event on 14th of February.
Exciting. I think we're going to get the Moonlight Polin scene and then probably a Q&A. I'd be surprised if they give something else in addition to that, but maybe another clip. Wasn't Queen Charlotte three different clips?
Queen Charlotte was the clip that had been released at Tudum, and then it was Lady Danbury clip in the bath, and it was the clip of them in the carriage with her brother. And it was a trailer. There was a trailer.
Because Martin's is there. I wonder if it'll be a Colin and Will scene and maybe a little teaser trailer or something.
Obviously, what we've got to look forward to next is on the 14th of February. They're doing the live event, and the cast the cast and creators are going to be in attendance. We're going to have Shonda, Julia, Nicola, Luke Thompson, Claudie Jessie, Adjua, Golda, Ruth, and interestingly, that's caught everyone's eye, is that Martin Zamangbe, who plays Will, is going to be on the panel as well. So does that suggest that Will is going to have a bigger role, like we've been hoping for, like we were talking about recently?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think he's going to be a friend for Colin.
Guys, I can't believe we've got a fucking clip.
Thinking about that, I wonder if we will get a teaser then a little teaser trailer just because of how many cast members are there. And then I wonder if we will get a clip, a non-Polin clip, because I don't think they're going to give us 3 Polin clips. I think we might get that Moonlight Polin one, and then we'll get something like another scene between the characters. So it might be like Will and Colin, or it could be like an Eloise, or a Penelope or something like that.
I think it could be Francesca to kind of intrigue people.
Yeah, with Francesca.
I would still love to get the clip of him arriving home. Oh my God. Okay, so should we stop it there and should we see what happens the rest of the day? Beans has gone back to sleep, hopefully. Lecky, it's so early in the morning for you. Are you even going to be able to go back to sleep?
Probably not.
A question for you both. Do you think the moonlight scene comes before that scene that we just seen? I think that he is, because Lecky, when we've been speculating about this before, we speculated that in the lessons he's going to kind of be like cool and confident to start with, and then we thought there'd be something where he would break and like we see like a fracturing.
You think it's that moment?
I don't know if it's that moment, but it could be. But I think that this is him sort of like taken aback, but he's still like, I'm completely fine. And then later on,
I see what you're saying.
And then this is their lesson. They're kind of cool and collected. He's like, I'll show you. And then something like this keeps happening in the lessons where there's like a moment where they're like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And then I think there might be another moment where we see him break, but he doesn't know he's broken.
Yeah, I think I agree with that.
And then in the moonlight clip,
we speculated that was the end of the episode.
He looks like completely undone. She looks kind of undone.
Kind of an almost kiss moment that takes us into episode 3.
Yeah, I wonder if it's like, this is part of the lessons and he's okay. Something happens a little bit later on where he's not okay.
Yeah.
And then we've maybe had Osterley.
Right.
And he's like, oh, we maybe need to work on that a little bit. And then later on we go to the Moonlight Ball. She meets Debling.
Yeah.
And he because Colin at that point is gone. And he confronts her about it afterwards.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Or maybe she lets it slip that she heard him say that he would never be interested in courting her anyway. Like she's like, oh, finally someone he'd be interested in courting me. Or not quite that. But you know what I mean? And then he's like, what?
But yeah. Oh my God. I think Moonlight is Chaos Colin, and I think once Chaos Colin's been activated, it's very hard for him to come back. So I don't think we'd go from Moonlight into this.
No. Yeah, I think you're completely right.
I think he'd be gone.
Yeah, this leads into episode 3. This is like the almost kiss, really tense moment they have. And then we kind of see the fallout of that in episode 3 where she continues to like pursue Debling or whatever, but he's just lost.
Actual clip, guys, only took us nearly exactly 2 years.
I couldn't be more excited, and I'm just grateful for Luke and Nicola.
They're playing it perfectly. And this is what we said, we've always just wanted a clip to kind of gauge where the two of them were. And I think now we had a bit more context. It's sweet to see that Pen like can't quite pull herself out of it completely because she's loved him all her life.
Yeah.
And it comes from such a deep, and it's really sweet that they're sticking to that book notion of like the core of their foundation, which is the quote about, he didn't give her a stinging set down, he didn't yell, he didn't even glare, he laughed. Penelope hadn't had much experience with the laughter of men, and what little she had known had not been kind. But this man's eyes, a rather intense shade of green, were filled with mirth as he wiped an embarrassingly placed spot of mud off his cheek and said, well, that wasn't very well done of me, was it? And in that moment, Penelope fell in love. And then a little bit later, when she starts to get to know him at balls, Penelope thought she'd loved him before. That was nothing compared to what she felt after actually getting to know him. He was witty, he was dashing, he had devil-may-care jokes of quality to him that made women swoon. But most of all, Colin Bridgerton was nice. Nice, such a silly little word. It should have been banal, but somehow it fitted him to perfection.
It's amazing. And I'm just obsessed with what you said about Violet and Edmund.
Yeah, it's breaking my heart. Love it.
We've talked about that being a thing before, and it's just amazing to sort of see those parallels, and also to see Pen like actively flirting has like completely thrown me. It's crazy.
But she's actually so good at it in the moment. But obviously the thing is, like, she's so good at it in that moment with him in terms of like, it is true, it's her truth, whereas she has to then go flirt with other men who she doesn't feel for, and she knows that she'll never love. And obviously that is where it'll just, because it's like, how do you say something that you don't even believe? It'll just be like an awkward, like, I don't know, like, your fingers, like, they're great, they look like sausages. I don't know what you'd say.
They're great, they look like sausages?
I don't know.
Well, you may also need some lessons from Colin. It seems
Colin,
like.
that's fine, babe. I will happily sign up for, the Colin Bridgerton class of tuition and marriage. Oh, it's beautiful. Guys, what a morning, what a day.
I can't wait for you to move down, Obs.
I mean, I have to say that I was supposed to move down to London today, and I put off my move-in date just because of this event.
Oh, no, sorry.
And it was so worth it. Also, listeners, I got a brand new microphone. I don't know if you can tell. I don't know if the levels are right, but if you can tell, have a little treat.
Right, well, I have an incredible amount of work to do.
Yeah, sorry, babe. You go.
Okay.
Hello there, Lecky.
Hi.
So it's a little bit later on in the evening. Have you had some sleep? I don't think you went to sleep, to be honest. I think you were too hyped.
No, I worked.
It's a little bit later on. To be fair, it's the next day for me now. And I just thought I'd grab you on a call. Obviously, you've heard our initial reactions are very in the moment. We've had a few more hours to process it and everything. I think beans and veg are hopefully asleep by now. But I just wanted to grab you on to have a little wrap up of our thoughts, see if anything has popped up during the day that we want to share before we end this episode. I will say that in our next episode, we'll get the other two. We're recording in a few days' time and we'll see how the other two are feeling about things. But I just thought, an emergency episode requires a little emergency rendezvous with Lek.
Please bear with us for our chaotic thoughts this episode.
Please. This happened at like 6 a.m. Was it 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. your time?
Well, the initial 0.2 seconds of a clip was at 5 a.m. and then the rest was at 6 a.m. So a slightly more reasonable hour.
And this all happened on the day I'm trying to move.
Yeah.
So please bear with us if our thoughts are not particularly lucid. But, who is lucid these days? So, Lecky, first of all, how are you feeling? Very exciting. Have you recovered yet?
Oh my God. It took me so long to get my work done today because I kept going back and watching, both clips, but especially that Moonlight still clip.
Oh has that one got you today?
Oh my God. Just like the intensity of his expression and and then just that sweet clip. You know why they're amazing. But also after I finished work, I got a notification from the Polin sub that said kindness is hot. And I was like, that's my ship.
Isn't that the takeaway of the day? Yeah, that's my boy.
Yeah.
That's who we love.
Yeah.
And we will get onto that because that's really one of the reasons I'm so excited about today. But should we start with your Moonlight clip then?
Yes.
Now, obviously, this is familiar to us from Tudum. And I think many people have been actually wanting to see it in clip form. Yeah. I know we didn't get dialogue, but the fact that they were moving in that scene. And obviously, in the Tudum still, that was very much Penelope's perspective. We could see the intensity from Colin based on how he was leaning into her.
Yeah.
But to actually get Colin's face in that is so interesting.
Yes.
Now, the Tudum still was confirmed as being from 302, right?
Yeah.
So we can pretty much say that this clip is coming from 302 unless that scene bleeds over 2 episodes.
I don't think they do that.
I feel like this is 302.
I think it's 302.
They don't tend to cliffhanger scenes like that, do they?
Yeah. They'll introduce something in this scene that happens and then you'll be like, oh, fuck, what's going to happen next episode because of what was introduced in this moment. But I don't think they would just cut off the middle of the scene.
So we can pretty much say that it's episode 2 then, more or less safely.
Yeah.
And we've been trying to figure out the actual geographical location, which we'll get onto soon, and the location within the story. So after a ball, is it Penn's garden? Is it during a ball? Where are you feeling?
I think it's a ball. And we also spent a long time today looking at pictures of hedges and triangle topiaries, trying to figure out where this is. And we have some potential leads, but hedges and triangle topiary, it's a little hard to figure out, but we're trying.
We're working on it. Today has not been the best day for research because we've been very busy with actual life. But if we figure it out, we will let you know, and we are so committed to figuring it out. So yeah, I don't know, I'm torn. I think it could be during a ball or after a ball. I think the fact that Colin is so disheveled, he looks so heavily bothered and upset by something. But what's really hit me about this upon rewatching it, because I think in the episode, in our initial reaction, I was like, this is after she's been with Debling and he's really pissed off that she's been with Debling and is confronting her. But I'm not sure that Penn would be that visibly upset in that context.
Yeah, I was thinking about this too.
I just think that there's something almost fearful in her reaction. And I don't mean that she's scared of him. That's not what I mean.
No.
I think she's scared of him digging too deep, almost.
I agree.
Because the upset of what he did and the shattering of the illusion is such a deep cut for her. And I think she's tried very hard over the 8 months to come to terms with it and move on and accept it and move forward in her life. But the cut is still so deep. Yeah. And I wonder I think this is maybe something Beans thought about in a previous episode, where maybe she doesn't reveal straight on what he did. Maybe she allows him to think that the cold shoulder is a combination of Eloise, it's a combination of growing up, it's a combination of she wants to leave her house. And that's what he goes along with. But I'm wondering if at this ball, the Moonlight Ball, maybe Deblin's in the mix, let's say, but I wonder if at this ball, he's trying to get closer to her after the drawing room scene, and she does something or says something that really...
Yes, this is exactly what I was thinking. Yeah.
I don't know if he's going to say something like, shall we dance? And she's like, well, you'd never caught me. Or she just says something that's like, what? And if he's glitched earlier in that episode, it's going to bother the fuck out of him.
Yeah, exactly. I think that maybe she accidentally lets it slip that she hurt him and kind of lets on how much that hurt her indirectly. And she's afraid of, letting that part of her feelings show. Yeah. And she runs outside and he follows her is what I was thinking. But it also could be tied into Debling where he's like, I don't think he's the man for you. And she's like, well, he's the only one who wants to court me. You certainly wouldn't court me.
Yeah.
Or maybe she has some poor luck with suitors at a ball or something like that and kind of makes some remark remark that ties back to the Featherington Ball. But I do think he finds out about what he said here, and Pen feels like she's given too much away about how it made her feel, and so she runs, because I feel like she does look a little scared.
Yeah, there's fear in that, and like I say, it's not scared of him. I think she's scared of...
It's not scared of him, it's scared that she let that part of herself out and let him see it. And
such a deep cut for her.
And then I just feel like he just looks intent, like he has an opinion on this. Yeah. And judging by the fact that he leans in the next still, I feel like he's going to challenge her opinion on what she said to him.
I think his hair and costuming is so interesting that I think he's been like running his hand through his hair. Her hair looks a little bit out of place as well.
Like she's run out of the ball.
Yeah, and he's following her. Now, I will say that I've seen quite a few theories, very interesting theories, that this could be him finding out she's Lady Whistledown. I think the intensity is quite good, but for a start, I don't think she'd be upset in the same way. And I think it's just too early in the story. They could surprise us by all means.
Yeah, one of our friends shared this theory with us earlier, and I feel like if you look at Pen's reaction, that fear, if it was that, I could see her being afraid that he's going to react like Eloise, but I just feel like this is too early in the story for him to find out that she's Lady Whistledown.
It's almost like a tiny sneak peek along that train, right?
Oh, you know what? That's a good point. Yeah.
You can see that moment developing into when he finds out.
And that he's not going to react the way people might expect.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. He's literally physically moving into her, moving towards her. Because we've seen it, like when he thinks he's done something wrong, he takes it very seriously and he tries to rectify it. So if he thinks that he's upset her or that she's not telling him something, I think that's where the intensity is coming from for him trying to be like, I'm not going to let it go.
I kind of love that you pointed that out, because you also get that during the carriage scene where like they have that argument when he finds out that she's Lady Whistledown. His reaction is to get closer to her, to lean into her. It's kind of like this explosion of like feelings that pushes him toward her instead of away from her. To see kind of a glimmer of that in episode 2 regarding some other conflict, kind of setting up the carriage scene, would be really clever.
It's like the little seeds are being sown throughout these early moments. And we need a different reaction to what Eloise had, I think. Where the two were physically, if you see that image of them in Pen's bedroom, it's so strikingly far apart from each other. Whereas Colin, the difference is it draws him closer.
Yes, love that.
I mean, it's just such a gorgeous moment. And we'll touch on this in a minute, but if this is the moment where he finds out what he did or said, if this comes after the earlier scene, in which we're going to talk about in a second, if this follows the drawing room scene where she said the phrase along the lines of, you know, your eyes shine the most when you're kind, if she said that and he's been boosted by her words, and then he realizes he did something that is fundamentally unkind to her.
I also feel like he's really clever and he's really good at reading people.
Yeah, he's very perceptive.
And I wonder if this is the start of him realizing that Pen does have feelings for him. And in episode 3, where they dance in Berkeley Square, etc., he's trying to win her heart and win her away from Debbling, but she's still too kind of scared to give in yet.
And that's what she's scared about.
And that's what leads to the passionate scenes between them.
I think that's what she's scared about in this moment, is him understanding the depth of how she feels. And that's what she's protecting herself from. And we see it earlier when she like kind of gives a little bit too much away in the drawing room. But this is to see like you flayed open and to allow someone to see the effect that they've had on you. It's just so vulnerable when the context of the whole story is that he's helping her marry someone else. Oh, I love it.
I feel like this is the turning point where he realizes that A, he has feelings for her, and that B, she may reciprocate those feelings, but she doesn't trust him enough to act on them, so he needs to win her back.
And win her trust.
So this is the start of that chaos, Colin.
Oh my gosh. And like we say, we are going to do our best to figure out where the hell they are, because it's bugging the hell out of me. But
I promise you, when we're done editing this episode, I'll be back looking at triangle topiary.
We are committed to the cause. Well, shall we skip on over to a little lesson? So obviously the lesson scene that we've been discussing earlier in the episode, how are you feeling about this? I have to say this is just, when I was thinking about first clip, I always said originally that I want to see the light leave Colin's eyes. I want that confrontation. And we got a taste of that. But this, seeing them together as like tentative friends, like trying to like figure out this fun, playful moment between them is just gorgeous.
I liked it because it tells us about the tone of the season. We've been so anxious to see that rom-com tone between them. Here it is. Here's the lessons we've been spiraling about since summer 2022.
Exactly. And they're actual lessons as well. It's gorgeous. And a huge shout out to Chris Bowers and the music team, because I love the playful music. And we've often wondered about what their theme would sound like.
It's playful and light.
And this could be one of their themes. It could be like part of the theme, a development theme, but that sort of youthful, playful, sincere music just really sets the tone for this scene. So
for sure.
Huge like shout out to those guys. But now what are you thinking about episode 1 or 2?
Oh, this is 2. We touched on this earlier. I'm confident that this takes place sometime after the market, before Austerley and the Moonlight Ball.
Yeah.
I was just judging by his hair, because his hair looks so much like it does in the market scene. And his hair looks like very midway between pirate and kind of those smoothed back locks that he has later on.
Now, Lecky, we've theorised about a glitch taking place during one of these lessons. Do you think that this moment is the glitch? That this is going to stick with him?
This is definitely one of them.
It was interrupted. It could build. It could be like a few things that stick with him, because they break themselves out that moment, but then the moment is shot externally as well. So they don't really get time to sit with that and think about it. And Pen's grateful. She's like, thank fuck I got away with that one. Like, Jesus Christ. But Colin, it's too perceptive. I think this is the awakening that we haven't seen before.
I do think we may still have a montage where we see like other glitches where like their hands touch while they're doing something, or, you know, he catches himself, where it's not kind of like a fully developed scene, but just maybe like little moments of them kind of getting closer, and we realize that Colin is just falling deeper and deeper.
Because Lecky, it wasn't one moment she crept up on him. That's the heart of it, right?
Yeah.
It's all these tiny little moments together.
Exactly.
Just to clarify a few things as well, their costumes look very similarly toned, and a huge shout out to the styling. And we just love Penelope's little, they're called like kiss curls, I believe, and all the little touches. And, you know, I'm coming around to the little lilac necktie. I think it's a very sweet touch. It's very Penelope, like whimsical touch, I think, that I wasn't expecting, but...
I don't know if we're going to leave it in the episode, but we may touch on this in our next episode. We had a very long conversation about how the journal scene
might come back to
play
this.
out with him cutting his hand. We will spiral about her little gauzy neck scarf choker thing.
We'll come back to the gauze.
Yeah.
And another thing that I just love, just as a side detail, is that portrait of Edmund and Violet. I know we talked about it, but in our Block 4 episode, which will be released later in February perhaps, we were talking about the use of the portrait and the hopes that they really would parallel the story. And I think seeing it framed, not only framed in that way, but to that be where the lesson's going to take place.
Yeah.
But one thing we didn't touch on at the time that I wanted to mention now is Penelopes voice, because we've often talked about on the pod Penelope's fluctuating voice. We've talked about how it deepens when she's around people like Genevieve, how she's used it to go high to portray innocence and naivety around Eloise and her mother and stuff like this. And we've wondered what her true voice is, and we've wondered what her true voice around Colin would be, because we've seen that fluctuate a little bit, I think. But here it is, it's more mature. I think there's less of a pretense, especially in an honest moment like this. It's lower.
Yeah, and she's speaking from the heart here. She's telling Colin words she's thought in her mind for a long time.
Well, Lecky, this is exactly it, because if there's one thing that stayed with me all day, it's the line that she says. I think it's just so beautiful. And the thing is, we've always known that Pen is a writer. We know that she can express herself through words, but the medium we felt that most pertinently through is through the written word.
I was also thinking about this, and I was thinking that part of the reason that Colin is so affected is that he's also a romantic.
Yes.
And she's not praising, I mean, she is praising the color of his eyes, but it's so much deeper than that. It's his kindness.
Yes.
Seeing his kindness inside of him. Ugh.
It's not like this physical attribute is attractive to me. It's like there is a reason and a history, and he has no idea how deep that history is. But and the thing is, you know, we know that she can express herself, and Colin knows that because she's written letters to him, and we've often wondered, you are haunted at night by wondering what the letters are.
Please.
But I think that so much of the way we as an audience have seen and experienced her love for him has been implied more than anything else, or shown. It hasn't been vocalized, you know, through the longing gazes that are so familiar to us, the way she's looked at him. When she has spoken, it's been supportive words, which is a form of love, affirming him, but it isn't overtly like, here is my emotions, here is my heart on my sleeve. It's, here is the way I show my love by supporting you.
It almost makes me want to cry, just the idea that like she looks at him and was like, your eyes are kind. Sorry.
Oh, it's gorgeous. And it's just such a foundational part of who they both are. And so we've seen her love, but hearing her express it through her true medium. So her true medium is words. And it's the medium that they've connected over in the past. But seeing her being able to portray that love through words, it's just so beautiful. And this has really made me hope that we might get writer Colin, because imagine, like you say, he's romantic, but if we do get writer Colin, then we also get someone who is also beautifully talented with words and expresses himself through words.
And has an appreciation for them.
And has an appreciation and understands the genuine meaning behind them as well. And that's what's going to get him, right? It's going to be a combination of things, because obviously the physicality is going to be a huge part of it. And that's almost in some ways a missing piece for him, that once that kind of clicks into the puzzle, he's done for.
Yeah, I think we will see that later. Lizzie Talbot teased that we will kind of see more to come.
She did. Tip of the iceberg, I believe.
Yeah, so I feel like these kind words will maybe kind of shift more into the sensual side of things later on, but we'll see.
I think this intensifies it for him because, as we said, we've always said that her letters meant a lot to him, and hearing her affirm him like that. I think Beans in the episode said that there was a similarity here between the assuredly, fervently, loudly scene in 108 and I think the purpose scene, the way that he looks at her when she's saying something so truthfully from her heart.
Yeah. I was going to say, Nick is doing it too this time around, but Luke has this really great thing where when he's listening to her, he like searches her eyes. His eyes kind of flit back and forth between her eyes. She's doing it too in this scene, but he's doing it again. And it's what he does in the assuredly, fervently, loudly scene where he's, just like completely in the moment, surprised by her, into it. Perfect.
But she's never surprised him by being, as he said, like that was rather direct.
Yeah.
Being direct. But Lecky, I don't want to taint this conversation in any way, but I think... when we think about Whistledown, we've said previously that, especially in terms of her letters, so he's familiar with her writing, but he's familiar with her writing through their letters, which we know were beautiful and supportive and encouraging to him. And we've wondered before how he's going to be able to reconcile that beautiful, supportive side of her with the sharp pen of Whistledown and in some ways the harshness. But this, if you think about this even more, he's going to really struggle to reconcile this Penelope with Whistledown, especially if Whistledown intensifies later in the season.
Maybe.
Him trying to reconcile those parts of him. Or do you think that, we have things like What a Barb?
I was going to say.
when he stops and thinks about it, he's like, actually, people have worried that he'll be like, another woman who's tricked me. And it's like, no, she's not just another woman who's tricked you. This is a friend that you've had your whole life. And when he actually stops and looks back at their history, he's like, actually.
She's been like this.
She's been this the whole time.
All along, I haven't been listening. Yeah.
And you can be both things at once. Just because she is harsh with her pen doesn't mean that she can't have this side of her as well.
And he also likes her barbs.
He also likes her barbs. And that word kindness, as you said, kindness is hot, is the is the phrase of the day. And I mean, I just adore this line for so many reasons, but it is linking back to the reason not only that she's in love with him and the foundation of their relationship, but the foundation of him as a character, and then the foundation of him as a leading male. I mean, I love Simon, I love Anthony, but they're very different from this leading man. And I think that's what people are quite excited for. We've had 2 seasons where the male lead, for, various reasons, have been scared to fall in love, have run from love. Whereas I think what we have with Colin is not only this deep-rooted kindness, but this belief in romance, this belief in love and chasing.
Yes, I was going to say the pursuit. I think we're going to see the pursuit this season, which is just such a foundational romance trope, and it will be so fun.
Because this is the first sibling who, Daphne and Anthony both, they set out to marry, whereas Colin isn't setting out to marry, but he'll end up going on that journey because of how he loves her. That is the essence of who he is. And what I love is that she still feels that way about him. We've talked about knocking him off the pedestal, but there is a difference between realising someone is flawed and losing all faith in them as a person. And I don't think she has lost faith in him as a person. It's just made her be a little bit more realistic. And I think she'll learn, as Penn did in the books, where, you're not infallible, you're not perfect, but me holding you to those standards isn't good. Like, you are imperfect and I love you because of it. And we've talked about how hard she's tried to move on and maybe convince herself she doesn't love him. But I think here in this moment, I think she can't not be in love with him. And I think she's going to be reconciled to the fact that she is always going to love him no matter what.
Yeah, because she's caught up in this moment too.
Yeah, she's totally caught. And she kind of lets herself have that moment. She shakes herself out of it and she's like shit afterwards. But she says it because she believes it and because she feels it. Yeah. And it's such a gorgeous moment between the two where she vocalizes that. And she's like, oh my God, I hope Jesus Christ. That's what I'd say. Just if anyone had blue eyes.
Could have said anything else, Pen.
Anything else. Top twice cravat. No, you went for the eyes, which I love. Oh my word, Lecky. What part has made you the most excited then?
The Moonlight still clip was the most exciting for me in terms of the intensity.
Thrilling, yeah.
Yeah, but that line about his kind eyes, it just got my heart. It was just so touching, and it's just so Polin.
It's one of those moments where you're like, that's my ship. That's why we're here. Yeah. That's why we've done all of this.
Yeah.
Oh, and it's all those tiny little, we've always trusted Nick and Newt, but seeing them in action, seeing them moving has been so, so exciting.
Amazing.
Oh my gosh. Well, listeners, we know that you've just been excited as we have. We have been messaging you all day. The coming weeks are here. We just... couldn't be happier. So obviously, Who knows what's going to come in the next few weeks. But in the meantime, we're going to go away. We're going to keep thinking. If we come up with anything, we'll let you know. So basically, our plans for our upcoming episodes, oh, lucky. Okay, so the last episode we released was Block 3. And in that episode, we said that our next episode would be Block 4.
And then we went away and recorded for 3 hours, and that we need some time.
It was 3 hours, and like we hadn't even finished the episode because me and you need to record some of it.
Yeah.
And shockingly, we're not going to release a 3-hour episode. So we're going to split Block 4 into 2 sections. But just because we know that Valentine's Day is coming up and there's all sorts of exciting things awaiting us, we're going to keep Block 4 until after Valentine's Day. And next week on the 10th, because our normal episodes are still fortnightly at the moment, we're going to do a little Q&A if you're up for it, Lek. This is going to be an obvs edition. These are all the questions I've been storing up in my mind. I've got notes up and I'm going to put you all to the test.
We've had a lot of conversations. We kept thinking like, okay, save that for the next Q&A that we're all really excited to talk about.
Something comes up like a little theory and like
that we've been putting off for a while, so that'll be exciting.
So we're going to go through that, and I think we'll catch up with the others about these clips and see how they're feeling too. But yeah, so listeners, we will speak to you very, very soon. But in the meantime, Lecky, Veg and Beans aren't here, so I need you to fill in for them. In the meantime, Lecky, where can everyone find us?
You can find us at What a Barb Pod on Instagram and TikTok, and you can also find our episodes with lovely subtitles and even lovelier collages on YouTube.
And then Beans, wherever you are, my love, please do us the honour on this beautiful, sacred, happy day and see us out.
Das violin. Do 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 do. A Polin podcast.